One of the first major decisions that a lot of us make is whether or not to attend college, but also once we decide whether or not to attend college, it's what to specialize in. The decision that we're going to look at today is going to be specifically for those that have decided to attend college and looking at what our college major should be. I know that's a big choice. It has a significant impact on you. You can always change it, once you get into school and you start taking classes and you realize maybe this isn't for me, maybe I want to go to a different major. I've done it, I've seen it. People have been tremendously successful after getting through the first few classes and then realizing this is not the major or the specialization that I thought it would be. So let's get into it. Go to getdecisionbuddy.com and you'll be able to download a form just like this, the template. It'll come with an example that's filled out already, and we'll kind of go through the steps for selecting your college major. So, first thing you do, what type of decision are we making today? I don't have college major on here. I have selecting a college university, which is one of the first steps or one of the initial steps as well. But I need to for this one I need to select other in order to type in my college major. So similar to a previous example that I've done, you can, type in if you want to enter a decision here. So I'm just going to say college major selection. Um, and then we can move on with the rest. Now you'll see there's some formulas in here. I do advise you to always save a copy. Save a copy of this so you can have a fresh copy always. And any formulas that you overwrite while you're typing this in won't necessarily, be lost forever. So you can always go back to that initial copy. So let's go on to step two. So which factors are important to you? Since this is not one of the pre-populated decisions, we're going to hand key in some factors. We're just going to do a few for the sake of time. But let's see. For a major, what's important to me. Let's say graduation rate from the specific university that I'm looking at. Maybe graduation rate, is something that I'm thinking of. For a specific major, what is the likelihood of me graduating? Um, let's say a job placement rate after graduation. So what's the likelihood of me finding a job, finding a successful job? Um, let's call it a unique um, degree. Maybe that's something that I'm interested in, right? Finding something that's not like something that everybody else has, right? That may be something that I want to look at. Uh, let's look at class sizes. Class sizes may be important to me. What else? Interests. So is it, are they, let's name that to meets my interests. Is it things that I do typically throughout, my high school journey? Am I used to working on cars or working with cars? Am I used to doing sports and I want to do something in sports, anything like that? Um, so we can do that. Let's say, whether or not we want a technical degree versus a different type. Whether it's a Bachelor of Arts or anything like that. So let's just use those for now, and let's move on to the next so we can keep this going. So step three is how important is each factor to you? Graduation rate on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's say that we want to make sure that it's a degree that I'm maybe challenging, but I'm giving myself a good shot. So let's call it a 7. Job placement rate, let's say that one's a 9. That's pretty important to us. A unique degree, let's call that one a 4, right? That may not be super important. Class sizes, let's call that one a 6. Uh, Meets my interests, let's say that one is an 8, right? We want something that I'll be interested in so it can hold me interested for the 4, 5, however many years you're going to be using it, and then whether or not it's a technical degree. So by that I mean, like, if you think of like a STEM program, those are the technical degrees that I'm thinking of. So for me, I mean, that's where my interest is, right? Is in STEM. I mean, you probably see my engineering shirt, so I'm a little biased, but I'll call that one a 7, right? Some folks may not be as worried about that. Step 4 is going to be selecting the format for each factor. You can see one of these actually populated in array just because of the wording that we used. But if we look at this graduation rate, we'll leave it at this: a 1, 2, 3, and a high number, a numeric and a high number. Job placement rate, let's make this one high low. Unique degree, let's call this one yes no. Class size, let's call this one high low. Whether or not it meets my interests, let's call that one yes no. And then if it's a technical degree, let's call that one a yes no as well. So graduation rate, we obviously want one that's a high number, right? We don't want to set ourselves up to fail necessarily. Job placement rate, let's say we're looking for high on that one. It's not a number, but it's a high low. So high is the optimal value. Unique degree, let's say yes is the optimal outcome. Class size, let's call that one low. Meets my interests, yes. And then whether or not it's a technical degree, we're going to say yes. Okay, and that's it. That's setting it up. So we've got steps 1 through 5 done. Now you can always click on here, interview results, and click on results tab, or you can just do it down here at the bottom. So we get here. Now let's start typing in our options. We'll put in a few options so we can see how they move around, and then we'll go from there. So let's say the first one is, let's click on this first. Let's say the first one is engineering. Right, that's one that I think is near and dear to my heart, obviously. Graduation rate, let's say that one is 70%, and these, I'm just gonna put numbers in here instead of percentages. So we'll say it's 70%. Job placement, it's high. Unique degree, let's say no, right? I know a lot of, you could say you know of a lot of engineers. Class size, let's say that's low. Meets my interest, yes, and it's a technical degree, yes. Let's say option 2 is business, right? Just go and get your bachelor in business. Let's call it BA in business. So that'll kind of drive some of our answers a little later. Graduation rate, let's say that one is 80%. Job placement is high. Unique degree, no. Class size might be high. Meets my interest, yes. Technical degree, no. Let's see. Let's say the next one is psychology. So this one, let's say the graduation rate is 75%. Job placement rate, let's call this one low, right? Because there may not be as much of a demand. Now I know that that's not necessarily accurate for psychology, but we'll say no just for the interest of what we're doing here. Unique degree, let's say yes, based on the type of psychology degree that we're getting or type of specialization that we're going into. Class size, we'll call that one low. Meets my interest, maybe not necessarily, and it's not a technical degree. Let's put in one more option. Option 4, let's say it's going to be sports management. So graduation rate, let's say it's 90. Job placement rate, we're going to call that high. Unique degree, we'll say yes. Class size, probably going to be high. Meets my interest, yes. It's not a technical degree though. So let's just do those 4 for the time being. We can always add more, right, as we get more information and we do some more research. When you look at it, I did not do this on purpose, but you can see the number 1 answer, actually by quite a bit, is engineering. You've got 4 leading factors. The top one is job placement rate. Sports management is my number 2 option, then followed by a BA in business. So that's our answer, right? I mean, this kind of breaks it down for us. So you've got your top 3 answers, and you can see them move around as you change some of these results. Right, if we go back to the second one was, or number 2 was sports management. If we say maybe the class size is low now instead of that, and maybe we can get a technical type degree, then that'll move sports management up to the number 1 spot. And actually that's a perfect score. So they got number 1 in everything, right? So we can see how that changes if certain things change within that specific option. So that's that. Get yours at getdecisionbuddy.com. And I look forward to hearing from everybody soon. Thanks.